All right, so I'm going to write a couple things, and I want you all to tell me what they mean. So, this right here, what does that mean? Like, what do you do if you have a problem like that? Plug in 2 for x, right? So, and you would read this f of x, and so it means everywhere in the function where you have an x, you change it into a 2. What if you had something like this? What would you do then? Everywhere you have an x, what are you going to change it to? A plus 6. So it doesn't mean you multiply, it means you substitute. All right, and so the new thing that we're going to have today is this, where you have a function f and you have a function g. So what do you think that means? Everywhere where there's an x, you plug in g of x. And so when I first taught this, like, I don't know, 25 years ago, my students kept multiplying, and I didn't understand what they were thinking, but they were thinking you see parentheses and you multiply. That is not what this means. This is all substitution. You plug in. All right, so there's two different notations for composition of functions. There's this little circle. It kind of looks like it says fog. And then this is the notation I prefer. I think all of our notes, well, except the very last example, uses this notation. They do like to put compositions on the ACT. I honestly don't know what notation they use. It probably could be either one. So anyway, both of these are read f of g of x. And you can think about it two different ways. Now, sometimes I like to think about a function like a machine, and you put something into the machine and something comes out of the machine. And so if you think of it that way, f of g of x means to run the g function through the f function. So everything that the f function is doing to x, you do that to g. Or most people, I feel like, think about substitution, like what we were just talking about. And so you can also think about it like substitute the g function for x in the f function. And like I said, for the majority of people, I think that is enough for you to understand what you're supposed to do. But I'll kind of talk about it both ways. All right, so today we're going to evaluate composition of functions. So we're just going to do the front, and then tomorrow we'll do some that are a little more complicated, algebraically, I guess. So on number 1, example 1, we have that f is equal to x squared plus x, or minus x, sorry, and g of x is 3x plus 2. And so on A, we want to find f of g of 1. And so just like with pretty much everything you've ever done in math, you start on the inside and kind of work your way out. So that's what we're going to do. The f is just going to hang out for a second. And we're going to start on the inside where it says g of 1. And you guys have known how to do g of 1 before today. You've probably known since around Algebra 1 maybe. G of 1 means you just go to the g function, and in the place of x, you change it to 1. You substitute 1. So instead of 3 times x plus 2, you make it 3 times 1 plus 2. Okay, so all I did was start on the inside. I'm finding g of 1 by plugging 1 in for x. All right. What do you get when you do 3 times 1 plus 2? 5. Alright, so then we have f of 5. F of 5 means we just go to the f function, and in the place of x, we're going to put in 5. So instead of x squared minus x, we're going to do 5 squared minus 5. What is 5 squared minus 5? 20. That's it. So just start on the inside and work your way out. All right, so for B, same thing. we're going to start on the inside. I'm going to change my highlighting. Start on the inside and work out. So this time, whoops. So this time G is going to hang out. And the first thing we're going to do is f of 3. So that means we go to the f function and replace x with 3. So it's going to be 3 squared minus 3. Let me get my color coded right. Alright. So what is 3 squared minus 3? Right? And then we're just going to go to the g function and replace x with 6. That's going to be 20. That is just a coincidence that they were both 20. There's no kind of relationship there, but that's 18 plus 2, which is 20. All right, what questions do you guys have so far? Do you remember doing this last year? A little bit? No. It's probably just like 1 or 2 days, and you don't do a ton with it after you learn it. All right, so let's look at example 2. These are my favorite. So we have this table that gives us values for f and g for certain values of x. And we're going to evaluate each composition. And so same thing, we're going to start on the inside and we're going to work our way out. So first things first, the f is going to hang out. And we're going to figure out what g of 8 is. So on the table, we're going to go down to where x is 8. On this table, g is the second column. So g of 8 should just be 4. Then we'll go, now we need to find f of 4. So we'll go to where x is 4. What's f of 4? Also 4. Okay. So you guys try B on your own. So we're going to start with 5 for the x. F of 5 is going to be 0. And then to find g of 0, we go to where x is 0, g of 0 is 9. Alright, and then C and D are a little confusing because you use the same function twice, so that sometimes that makes people confused, but you're doing the same thing. You are starting on the inside. We're going to start with f of 4. The other f is going to hang out for a second. F of 4, this is not a good problem, I should have changed it. F of 4 is 4, and then f of 4 is 4 again. I guess it's a good problem, it's just kind of repetitive. Alright, and then on D, we want to start on the inside. The g on the outside is just going to hang out. We want to find g of 6. G of 6 is 7. And then we're going to find g of 7. G of 7 is 3. Alright. Isn't that fun? You guys look like you're having so much fun. Alright, and then the last example, we're going to do the same kind of thing, just with a graph. Or 2 graphs. Alright, so on A, we're going to do f of g of 3, and just like always, we're going to start on the inside. To find g of 3, we go to the g graph. When x is 3, what is y? 4. So our f hangs out. The inside becomes a 4. Now we're going to go to the f function. We want to find f of 4. When x is 4, y is 0. That's it. Alright, so you guys try B, C, and D on your own. If you need help, just let me know when I'm walking around. Alright, what questions do you guys have? Super quick. Okay.